Players and officials, stand by.
No touch!
Nice and pressure, get that pressure! Straight in. Up again.
So here we go then, we are on to our fourth game of the day and move on to the men's semi-final. South East Sharks taking on the Midlands Tigers, and you're joined by myself, Bradley Hope, and from the West Wildcats, Amro Karim. Amro, how are you doing this morning? You're right.
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate.
And it's set to be another fascinating game. We had a brilliant mixed semi-final. It went right down to the wire, and we have the Midlands Tigers taking on the South East Sharks. This one should be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, it should be a fast-paced game today.
And South East Sharks looking to try and get the opening score. So much pace, isn't there?
So much. Yeah, trying to set up now. One quick ball. Oh, nice double switch, and for the score.
Oh, that was an incredible play, but just couldn't finish it off. And in these semi-finals, do you feel it is so important to try and get that first score, just to give you that momentum?
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of maintain that momentum through the day. I don't think really the first score is that important, but trying to kind of build on that momentum and can keep that flow going. It's probably important to win the first 5 minutes.
And in terms of yourself, Amro, and West Wildcats, how do you feel the weekend's gone for you?
Yeah, I think the Wildcats have had a fairly good 3 days here. The juniors did very, very well yesterday, and both the opens, all three of the opens teams are really kind of battling through the weekend.
And in terms of your role this weekend, you're playing a bit of a double role this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, a little bit of a double role. So I'm the regional lead for the region, and so kind of maintain all the teams going forward, and trying to help the mixed open try to achieve a medal today.
Yes, and how's the in terms of yourself playing? How's that been this weekend?
Yeah, it's been it's just been a very hot day. That's a lovely fake going for the line there, and nice little offload by Miles.
And the South East Sharks, get off to the perfect start. There is that man Miles Partridge. He is a speed demon, isn't he?
Absolutely beautiful. Sucks those two defenders in.
And the Sharks now have that opening score, and they lead by 1-0 in our second semi-final of the day. Sorry, going back to playing this weekend. How's that been? Has it been alright?
It's been hot. It's been very, very hot. So it's just managing people really.
And we've had plenty of coaches and referees and players, and they've sort of all given their say on how they're trying to recover and giving them what their best ways of keeping the hydrations up for the weekend. How have you found that?
Keeping hydrated is absolutely paramount, but you drink at every opportunity and try and get those cold towels on as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Maintain the shade as much as you can. Shade is a premium here.
It certainly is, yeah. It's I think it's one of the main reasons a lot of the players have come and joined us in the commentary box just to get a bit of a shade for 40 minutes. And Midlands Tigers looking to try and respond straight away, full of youth and
absolutely very close to the line there. Oh, look for the step back. Oh, there it is.
Brilliant stuff from the Tigers, and what a response that is. And it's that man, Will Lupton. He had a super opening game this morning. He put on plenty of assists, and he's got a score himself, and lots of youth in this Midlands Tigers side. You've got the likes of Matty and Ollie Maynard, Will Lupton, Sam Missing. It's a question that it's a lot been talked about over the weekend about the youth coming through, and as you looking to oversee it from the West Wildcats point of view, it must be exciting to have all this youth available.
It's amazing. You look at the juniors coming through now, and there's just such an abundance of talent, and they are the future by all means. But even in the open squads, the men's open squad, you look at that youth and exuberance. It's fantastic to watch. Oh, look at that, Swinger.
Well, beautiful play, and again, it's just an instant hit back from the Sharks, and it's that man, Miles Partridge, again is involved, and it was a lovely step.
Lovely pick and go from Matty Watt there. Just takes his middle. Does it very, very well.
Dominic Tripp just finishing off and looking at the Sharks side again, full of fantastic players, likes of Miles Partridge, who is one of the quickest on the scene, isn't he, Miles?
Yeah,
He
he
certainly is.
Definitely has the pace. I don't think there's a quicker man out there sometimes.
Yeah, you certainly also get you know when Miles Partridge is going to go, and he heads down and he just goes to the line, but the Tigers looking to try and respond straight away. Here's in the middle with Ollie Maynard. His support Nicholas Ferns is there as well. Will Lupton playing his trade at Nottingham Hoods. Just can't get through on this occasion. So Hammer is looking at it as overseeing the whole thing. What's it like trying to get all these players from different sides and getting them all together and building a side? What's that process like?
It's an interesting process, but you look at trying to build regions individually through the year, and then you kind of pull them all together and try and have a common focus and a common goal. It's trying to instill a little bit of England touch, really, game plan and that coaching that we all get as England players back to the region, and kind of developing those regions, developing the players. It's really all feeding the machine.
And Sharks maybe some space opening up now. Looking to try and go left, up into going to the centre.
Lovely switches just to kind of move those middles around.
Yeah, is that something you work on with your side, trying to stretch those middles and create those gaps opening up?
Certainly. Trying to split those middles apart when you get into the strike zone. That's what the game's about.
And towards
good hands.
10 metres up towards halfway.
Midland's really winning that territory game, but a little bit of miscommunication there.
In these semi-finals, is it just all about sort of timing and keeping your composure at the right moments?
Yeah, it's just trying to maintain. A lot of the guys in our team are very new to this arena, so just trying to keep that composure and keep them focused and ready for the big stage, really.
A great covering defence from the Tigers, stopping the Sharks. They thought there was a light at the end of the tunnel then.
May trying to direct now. Nice little hammer. Ball goes wide.
Great covering defence. The speed to get out there was incredible. Harry Richards thought he was in there. And the intensity, the fitness levels is just quite remarkable after 2.5 days of action, and to still be putting those efforts in. It's really amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This comes down to kind of just draining the tank, really, in the semi-finals and finals. Great pickup. Unlucky, just getting in the way there.
Yeah, Sam Nissen's a bit of a natural, isn't he? Just scooping the ball up, and he just has that real nice flow of momentum coming forward.
It's a really great skill to have certainly in this game.
Nice players.
It's going to
go. Looks to try and show to the left.
Miles there covering at link.
And the Tigers looking to try and come forward.
Middle's taking that time off. Show and go.
Just nearly couldn't. It was Ollie Maynard who was trying to fling the ball out towards the left-hand side.
Sharks really doing a great job at covering that short side defence.
Sharks coming forward. Miles Partridge.
Yeah, great box drive. Good yards as they flood on.
Over halfway.
Nice little check back. And he's away. Good momentum.
Incredible movement. Needs that support. Can he find it? He just can't. But that individual run was absolutely superb, wasn't it?
Yeah, the double step. Not a lot of people can do that without breaking their ankles.
How are you finding the pitches as well out there? It seems like in the morning there's that little bit of dew, and then suddenly when it breaks through about 9:30, the sun just comes out and it really dries up, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think the pitches are really, really good, actually. They, even with a little bit of dew in, sometimes in the corners under the shade, you can still get a little bit of, it's a little bit slippery in the corner there, but even our game at 10 o'clock, it was perfect. Really, really nice.
And again, just couldn't get that support, and it still remains the Sharks leading by 2 points to 1.
As they build momentum, come into the box. The flood comes on. Maliwat directing again. Oh, straight in there. Great dump, great scoop by Dom. Looking for that final phase.
And again, it's just that initial run is absolutely brilliant, and it's just trying to find that support. And they talk about mirroring, obviously, in the goal area, and you really have to work hard to try and find that space, don't you?
Totally, yeah. And you're as a defensive pod, you're trying to not get that player to run your outside shoulder and maintain coverage on that short side. It's very difficult with the likes of Maliwat and Dom Tripp picking up, and they're very fast. And the Sharks team look very impressive when they get a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, they certainly do. They've got full of pace and energy in this side, and still almost like they've just popped in another Duracell battery and just going again.
Absolutely.
And looking to try and break through.
Just getting both middles up in that touch there. Oh, great coverage by the link. Don't want to give Miles any room to manoeuvre.
Absolutely not. Matty Walls in the middle, and there is Miles Partridge.
That's beautiful, unlucky.
It's almost just perfect up until that final little bit of the piece of the jigsaw, and it just can't be completed, can it?
Well, these teams seem to be very well matched, and it's only really, really fine margins that's going to break this deadlock.
And in terms of your side, Amro, what's it been like trying to? It's quite a unique format, isn't it? The Nationals, where you get players coming in from, well, of course, it's regional based, but players coming in from different clubs. How have you had to manage that?
Yeah, it's we all have our different styles of play, and certainly every region brings something new every single year. Really, we've tried to use this year as effectively as a building year. So kind of going into a 3-year build to look at competing in every division. So trying to build that player base and build those guys and girls coming through.
And the Sharks again, as you quite right actually mentioned, just really have a good momentum and flow to every attack. It's just that final piece, isn't it? Just not coming off of them at the moment.
They're rucking to the box, and as they flood on, they just seem to get behind that middle defence. And once they're through,
an unbelievable interception, and just in the nick of time, Matty Maynard was there.
Few little defensive errors there as we get tired, especially in that burning heat. Sharks piling on the pressure though.
Yeah, they're really having to soak this up, the Tigers, at the moment. Can they hold on again? Oh, and that slip, and even though it isn't raining, in those forms of the pitch in particular, we're seeing a lot of dust sort of come up, and it's dust patches forming. Is that something you're seeing on not just on pitch one, but across the pitches as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of that. I think it's been unprecedentedly hot the last couple of days. It's just dried out the grass a little bit as we play more and more. But I think the pitches are still fairly good, Nick.
Here is a Will Lupton. Oh, flings it out to right. It's a
great take. It's a great take, but he can't get him. Can't get from underneath that Sharks player.
Yeah, he's just trying to almost bide his time for the Tigers just to get themselves set. He knew the score wasn't going to be given. And the Sharks now looking to try and build from their own half.
They get some great momentum off that box drive. The latch comes. Looking to take that middle fifth dump. Look for a strike.
Oh, lovely little.
Great read by the middles there.
Yeah, staying alive at the moment, and they're really soaking up the Sharks' pressure, the Tigers, and it could prove vital as the game goes on.
A little bobble. A little bit of over. I think I was in the ruck there by the Sharks. 6 more. Oh, I
Through.
don't think they're going to give that one.
And turnover, and now the Sharks have some space to try and utilise, and the Tigers really having to put the pressure on to try and stop them from going any further. Good yards made up already.
Sharks being very technically proficient here. Their set pieces and their strike plays are very well put together.
Howard now. Wall picks it up. Partridge looks to go for Partridge. He opts to go himself.
Oh, he looked for that ninja setup. I think Midlands are actually starting to read it now. Very tight game with 3 minutes to go here in the first half.
It certainly is. There's only 3 points scored in this first, and it's only a slender advantage for the Sharks. And these 40-minute games, it's incredible how much can suddenly change, isn't it, when there's so much time?
Oh yeah, definitely. The score really at this stage doesn't mean too much. It's about building that momentum and just maintaining your shape and consistency over the next 20 minutes.
Sam whistling off to all up to the ups to go right, and over the
A little bit close to the line there.
very close. And you get the impression, a lot of players and coaches, they talk about this period just before half-time break, where when it is close, it can really change the momentum of the game, can't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just slim margins, very slim margins.
Nice pick up, looking to go for the line. Sam Missy stops it, so a set of 6 and good opportunity to try and get a score and maybe get some daylight in before the half-time hooter.
Oh,
Haven't made the line. Nice, Henry.
I think they're going to get it, yeah.
It looks like they are, and the Sharks now into a 3-1 lead. We were just seeing the referees just talk through the reasoning behind it, and you can see the disappointment in the Tigers players' faces, and the Sharks now lead by 3 points to 1. How much of a momentum shift that could potentially be, Amro, for that, just before the hooter as well. Minute and a half still to go.
It's definitely nice to be up at half time, but again, it's just such slim margins. Anything could change in the second half.
See if the Tigers can try and break down. The Sharks' defence has been relatively stubborn in this first half.
Lovely step, trying to find a gap. Trying to bring them out again now for a strike. Oh, a little bit of tiredness maybe creeping in this heat. Well, from both sides, I think.
Again, yeah, it's just errors just creeping in and into the final minute, and if the Tigers can get one now just to reduce that gap to only 1 before the break.
Middle will want to try and control the last minute here. Just trying to tease those middles up. Nothing coming.
No, the Tigers just stopped, but still with the pressure. Can't see if they can do anything with 20 seconds remaining.
Looks like they're going to try and set up for a short run here. Yeah. Step back, fires long. Oh, great covering by that winger. Great ball though.
It really was. Good work all round. Can they get through? They can't, and that is the half-time hooter, and that brings an end to the opening 20 minutes of this men's semi-final, and it is the South East Sharks who currently lead by 3 points to 1. Amro, what would you be saying to both sets of teams? You've mentioned it is still 20 minutes left to play, and it's still very tight, isn't it? What would you be trying to say to both sides?
It's about managing your body temperatures now, getting some water on, calming your players down, tweaking any technical things that you need to do within your little pods, and then getting back out there and trying those. And they'll have the Midlands coach there, Travis, will no doubt be looking at picking apart the Sharks' defence and seeing what his moves will be more effective.
So at the break then, it is the South East Sharks who lead by 3 points to 1 in this men's semi-final. Myself and Amro will be back for the second 20 in a couple of moments' time.
Yeah, the right time for a referee to interchange with his sideline buddy is when they're approximately 15, maybe 20 metres from the sideline, and it's at the right time for the play.
I've got you if they come, Ray. All the way back, Link. Link, no. Yeah, Ray, I've got you here, mate. Back to me, middle, to 8, yes. Shoot is good. Third with me here.
Teamwork comprises of many factors for the referees. A lot of it is communication with the players.
Take it back 2 meters, blue, please. 2 meters back. Thank you. Hold here.
Cat go one.
Yeah, roll, that's fine. Look for me. First is with me. Here it is. 27, 2 meters. Yes, good there. Look at me for second.
The sideline ref's always communicating with the players.
All the way back to the ref now. 9, 1 step, 9 offside. Look for the ref next touch.
And at the appropriate time, we'll communicate with the on-field referee when a critical decision needs to be assisted.
Have a look at the ref at the next touch again. You're just in front of the line. 12, no. Good, 12. All good here, Jonathan.
The development of referees is quite rigorous. There are 5 levels in the fit level system. The entry level is level 1, level 5 is the highest. So to progress from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, there's a theory exam plus a practical assessment. And when you go from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, that has to be done at an elite tournament, like a Nationals tournament or a Euros.
Well, just before we start the second half of this men's semi-final between the South East Sharks and the Midlands Tigers, I believe we are going to go down to pitch side, where Chris is there.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. I'm joined by Carrie Thorpe, who's Head of Medical and Sports Science with England Touch. Carrie, there's been a lot of chat in the commentary box this weekend about a hangover from Malaysia and the very hot conditions from a medical perspective. Are you seeing that as well over in the tent?
A little bit, yeah. So some of our players who play obviously in their own regions bring in all of the information and the support that we give them to their own teams. Not everybody is probably as prepared as they could be, but it's filtering. And we're certainly in a much better place than they were, nationals 3-4 years ago.
In terms of the filtering of information, what was that then that you then gave all of the players before they went out to Kuala Lumpur that in turn is as you say, is helping the teams deal with the conditions this weekend?
So it's been going for a number of years, but I would say we made a very large document that gave them a lot of support about, some of it was travel information, but some was about coping with the heat, how they should be out of the heat, wear sun cream, but make sure they're getting into shade, drinking fluids, but eating is important as well.
In terms of that, can you just quantify that in terms of the eating and the hydration? How should players prepare for a weekend of touch?
In preparation altogether.
Yeah.
They should be doing a good training program. You can't just, so some people who you often see faces you haven't seen for a long time, and I think, oh, I've not seen you on the touch scene for a while. But obviously we've got a Euros in this country next year, so people feel a little bit more hopeful that they can make the team, so they kind of come out of the woodwork. I would hope a lot of them for the last 6 to 8 months have been in the gym, have been increasing their cardiovascular fitness, but also increasing their strength and power, which gets them through the tournament physically. And then being able to cope with the heat is getting out of the shade, making sure they're hydrated and staying cool.
You've been doing a lot of work through MMU with Nick Dobbin, who's the lead sports scientist, but also Emma Cropper, who's been involved on the physiotherapy side of England Touch as well. What are the main findings you've been researching about the sport?
So we obviously started with the demand of the sport and being able to cater our programs to meet. So a lot of players, when I first started, were running 10k and being able to support, giving you, I can run 5k in this amount of time, and I was thinking, but you don't run 5 kilometers straight, steady state on the pitch. So being able to use GPS data and quantify that has made our programs more touch specific. We are now moving into a frame where our S&C coach, so Aaron and Joe, will start to look at more individualised programs from that. So they will start to focus on individual aspects of players who perhaps need a little bit more focus on strength, or players who need a little bit more focus on agility and speed.
Is it the kind of approach that you see? How much steer do you take from the approach at professional clubs in similar sports?
A lot, I would say, because Nick's involvement with rugby league and in every club within the country has managed to pull off some data, be able to use their support of the things that they work and find useful. We do obviously have support from Professor Craig Twist, who has been heavily involved in rugby league for years and has a lot of experience and science behind, and he obviously gives us advice as well of things to prepare.
Just in terms of a professional club, or maybe top levels of other sports, they may deal with a relatively narrow age range, maybe late teens to late 20s. As far as England Touch is concerned, we've got Sam Misson, who's got the ball at the minute, who's 17. We've got players who are into their 40s and even their 50s representing England. How do you tailor everything to such a broad spectrum, or is that possible?
Yeah, it is a little bit more possible. We do divide our staff that way. So with Nick's support, we do divide our S&C coaches to look after. So when they create a program, they're creating a program for the Opens, which is a much narrow age range. We then have an S&C program for masters and one for seniors, and then an equally different one for juniors as well.
And just in terms of how the youngsters in particular, and we've talked a lot about Junior Touch Championships in Paris last week, and and some of these Midlands players were out there for that. In terms of the response that you get from them, particularly when they've got schoolwork, they've got lives outside of sport as well. In terms of getting them into the right shape to play at an adult sport, how do you find their response, and their parents as well?
Positive, because they know that they're representing their country, so they're starting to work harder. It's becoming much more competitive to get into an England side than it did in past years, so they do have to work harder. We do cater for and look after, so some of the programs that come out for children are based on the fact that we know that they play netball and football and rugby, so they're probably not as intense as we would do if this was their full-time sport, and we try to educate the parents to say, look, we're trying not to push them, because they do play a lot of other activities. Kids just need to keep moving, and on a personal level feel that perhaps the PE system in schools isn't as high as it was, so kids do need to do more outside of.
Carrie, thanks very much for your time. Hopefully it remains a relatively quiet weekend for you for the rest of the day. Back to Brad for the resumption, or for the conclusion, should I say, this game between Midlands Tigers, who we've just seen score a great touchdown, against South East Sharks.
Thank you very much, Chris. And yes, we are in the middle of what is an incredible semi-final. So intense, these two sides, South East Sharks and the Midlands Tigers, and I'm joined by Amro Karim from the West Wildcats for this second half, and we've just been talking as we've this opening couple of minutes, and just felt that the Midlands Tigers have just dropped off the pace slightly, although they've got back into this.
Yeah, I did say that, and then they ran a really lovely play and just engaged that shot, and the shot was a little bit late. Gave that winger a lot of work to do to cover that long ball out. But yeah, really good score for the Midlands, and they're back in this game.
Yeah, they certainly are, and just with nearly 5 minutes gone in the second half, it is delicately poised. It's waiting for the new recruits to come on. Here's Sam Misson with Will Lupton, the Nottingham Hoods man, just linking up with his Cambridge counterparts in the middle.
He's definitely the danger man here. Try and direct it.
Yeah, Sam Missing, still a youngster,
play.
even though he's
Pick up.
so experienced.
I think
Yeah, it will be brought back. I think he saw the green light. He was charging on forward, but he always had the feeling it was going to be brought back.
it's a lovely feeling when you have that intercept and all you can see is open pitch.
Must be incredibly tiring though.
Oh yeah, you don't really want to run it, but at the same time, I think they just got brought back for offside there for a minute.
Just saw another slip there. Even though the pictures are looking really nice, you can see it's just browning up the grass after the hot temperatures we've had over this weekend. Maybe becoming a bit dusty and slippery. Great touch.
Great cover, great chase out.
Oscar Davis coming in. Here's Sam Missing. Back across. Here he is again. Looks to
Step back
fling
and the
ball
fire
wide.
up.
Oh, what an
Got
interception.
it this time.
And this time around, no stopping him. Well, he couldn't get through the first time. He does this time around. And Toby Woodward. And that could be another really important score. The Sharks now lead by 4 points to 2. And how incredibly frustrating is it when you've been applying all that pressure and then an interception and then you find yourself conceding a score.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but great read by that defensive pair. Winger did very well to hit that line, get back up, and be a nuisance, and it's paid off.
Yeah, Glenn Jones was the closest to trying to get that touch in. And Thomas Wells was there trying to support. And here come the Tigers again, trying to put the pressure on, and they don't want to be conceding another breakaway score again.
No.
Let's see if they can work something. Are they going to try and open up a gap on this near-hand side? Flinged out. Or has he just stayed in it? Don't think he has, no.
I think he just stepped out on that one.
Very unfortunate. The pass was fizzed at him at a rate of knots, and turnover possession now for the Sharks. And Amro, you were just at the break, just going through the team sheets, and you pinpointed one individual in particular, Matty Wall. You're saying he's such a key part of the Sharks side.
Yeah, so Matty's he's horrible to defend against, but such an amazing ability, amazing player. His ability to manipulate a defensive. Certainly in this case the middle pairing there on the Midland side, just fantastic, and it's incredible being on the pitch at the same time, but it's also a lot of hard work trying to keep it at bay, really.
And Amro, of course, you play trade at Oxford. How's that? So how's the summer been, and how's Oxford? What's the team like being here at Oxford over the summer?
Yeah, the team's Oxford's a great club to play for, and we've got some great players, Joe Hartley and Jolene Hughes, and a flood of really good young talent now coming through, and it's been a little bit transitional over the years, and we've kind of stepped our game up this year. I think certainly having more players in the England setup has certainly helped give us a platform to work on and develop those youngsters as well. Cam Allen also very prominent. He's been out a little bit for injury and other reasons, but he's a great coach and a good inspiration to the youngsters.
And yourself, obviously, you've got this role looking over the West Wildcats, and how's that been, going from the playing side and almost being a bit of a coach and advisor as we see another breakaway, and well, definitely not going to stop Miles Partridge.
They're going to try, but I think he's giving up pretty quickly. Miles isn't really hitting top gear either, just making sure that he's far enough away.
And as easy as that, Miles Partridge breaking away, and he is he didn't get out of second gear there, almost just, that was his jogging pace, and that is quick enough for South East Sharks. I'm sorry, yeah, Amro, just going back to your role as almost the coaching side and playing. What's that been like?
It's been good. I've got a great co-lead, Sam Powers, and together we take on the region and trying to develop players. And that was a lovely little ninja. Almost got that.
Yeah, looking to try and get through there. Sam Mission just laying it off as well. Back into the middle.
Oh,
Looks
and the
trying
long
to
ball.
create something. Here's the long ball. Great take. Looks to go back inside.
Still alive. Oh, that's unfortunate. Running back into traffic there.
Yeah, it just got a bit too tight on this near side, and no space to work with. And apologies, I mean,
That's all right.
so yeah, working alongside. It must be a really unique situation.
Yeah, it is. I think we work well together, and she takes care of half of the teams, and I kind of take care of the other. And together we try to develop the regions and develop men and women's touch, really.
And of course, a big talking point over the weekend, over the summer, really, is the increase in just the talent of these youngsters coming through. It must be incredible to see.
It's great. It's really great, and it just it pushes your game. It makes you have to think a little bit more about it, and certainly that's a lovely dummy and a lovely long ball out to the wing.
Matty Maynard. Let's have another look at this again. Yeah, he just had his eyes on it, saw the space, patient build-up, and just what the Tigers would have been wanting. So they reduced that gap to only 2, and still with 8.5 minutes remaining. And Matty Maynard, again, there's another youngster who's coming through the ranks. And just overall, it's exciting times, isn't it?
It is really, yeah. I'm really impressed with Sharks' work rate, though. They're just relentless in attack and in D. It's just paying off.
Really is. Max Howard is there in support. Looks like Jamie Ironside as well. Lovely play, and that could be a superb score. What a dive that was. Jamie Ironside going over, and what a response for the Sharks. And this is well worth another look on the replay.
Yeah, just again, Matty Watt just doing enough there just to take his medal across, and knowing that he's got that player on the cut line.
And it was the number 5 for the South East Sharks. A brilliant score, and they lead by 6 points to 3 in this men's semi-final. And the Sharks may feel like they have one hand on the one step, I should say, into the final, which will be coming up on our final game of the weekend. It will be at 3:40, the men's final. And of course, we'll bring you more action. We've got the women's semi-final coming up for you next.
They're trying to tease the Sharks into biting there, but they're not doing it. Defensive patterns are really working.
I was looking to put the pressure on to go left, but the Sharks, you're quite right, Amro. It's just the intensity, and not just the attacking but defensive, is really outstanding to see, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming down to that work rate, that communication, and just all of them kind of working together really as one big team, one big unit. Everyone has their role, executing really well, nice clean dumps. Just clinical. Oh, apart from that bit.
Just the one. There we go, Amro. The first time the commentator's curse. But yeah, apart from that, they've just been. It's really been a joy to watch, hasn't it?
Yeah, I had to say it, didn't I? I had to say it.
And here come the Tigers, fresh faces on there. The two that normally try and create as much as they can. Sam Missing and Will Lupton.
Oh, looks for the step back.
Glenn Jones is also, he's such an experienced player, not just in this but for the Cambridge setup as well. He opts to go out to that far side, but just too far. And time is running out for the Midlands Tigers.
A little defensive error there.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic in this Sharks play we've seen so far in this semi-final. Very switched on. Here's Will Lupton.
Yeah, they're giving a very dangerous side. 6 more close to the line there. Just going for the corner.
Oh, and just stopped on the line, and these are the moments where the Tigers will be desperate to try and get a score now, just to apply some pressure.
Yeah, again, Don Tripp, just his work rate is phenomenal. They get it away. Getting this ball to ground. They forward pass.
You can almost see they're just sort of just abiding their time, aren't they? Although they still accelerate. The energy levels are
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah, again, that's Don Tripp there. Just ploughing in, getting that great platform for the flood on. Sharks now attacking with lots of momentum.
Need to find that support. It was a brilliant run in particular. Oh, incredible scoop, and the timing is absolutely exquisite. And it was Angus Gough, the hot custard player, who was arriving on the scene. Absolutely sensational, and that is one of the plays of the morning so far. That was absolutely superb. And the Sharks, well, it looks like they have 1 foot in the final.
It would seem so now with 3 minutes to go. A lovely run by Henry there.
Salad now, space potentially opening up. Oh, it's just, again, really good covering defence.
Really fingertip defensive work there by the Sharks.
Still the Midlands Tigers wanting to put the pressure on. They will still believe right until the hooter goes that they've got a chance. And none so more than this man Maynard, and unfortunately has to let it go. So 2.5 minutes remaining. And the Sharks, well, they've been attacking and defensively very well drilled.
Great yards on this drive. They're already in their 10.
Nice little pick up. Don Tripp again.
Just very dangerous with momentum. That driving pattern really working for the Sharks. Oh, just a little loose, but all the correct holes were being hit.
There's Evan Michaels there. He applies his trade at CSSC, or London Eagles as they are now called. And he's another youngster who's got a bright future in the England touch rugby scene. But again, Midlands Tigers, they'll keep going right until the bitter end.
This is a wonderful setup, wonderful drive, but getting a little bit off, put off there by the Sharks. Not happy with that touch.
Lupton. Oh, a lovely setup to the left-hand side, and the space just opened up in the middle, and it's the 4th on the board, and it might be just too little, too late, but it was really nice play. Will Lupton again, he's had a cracking day.
Yeah, this was a great split out and a great chop hole. Just taking his link out wide and then chopping that hole in between the middle and the link.
So into the final minutes, and the South East Sharks are on their way towards the men's final, and I think we can both agree, I think it feels like it's deserved.
Yeah, certainly. I think Midlands have done very well to keep Sharks at bay for so long, but I think the Sharks' work rate has just won out there. Fitness levels and attrition really in this heat.
Coming into the final few seconds, and the Sharks looking to try and finish off in style. Miles Partridge again looking to try and get the afterburners going, but he's stopped in his track.
Setting up for... I think they're running the clock down now. They know they're on the winning end.
Yeah, only seconds remain. Just
sweeper
waiting for
coming.
Hooter. Are they going to try and finish off in style? Touch comes in, and that will be that. And it's a result for the South East Sharks, and they will advance into the men's final, which will be coming up at 3:40. And overall, a pretty comprehensive performance.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Sharks have just run them ragged really today, and just phenomenal work rate in attack and in D. They look very dangerous going into the final.
So that brings a close to our fourth game of the day, the men's semi-final, and we'll now move on to our fifth game of day 3, and we'll move over to the women's side, and we'll see the South East Taipans taking on the West Wildcats. Well, Amro, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box, and best of luck for the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
And yes, so our next game coming up here live on England Touch and BBC, it is the women's semi-final. South East Taipans taking on the West Wildcats.
drop off on one of the pitches, so players and officials. Time is counting down for the next game. We have a low 5 minutes already, so we've a little bit late in 5 in the morning, but that's happens on a drop off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a 2-minute warning, players and officials. This is your 2-minute warning. Seconds. Players and officials, this is your 30-second warning. Please ensure you're on your pitches ready to play. Players and officials, stand by.
So we're back underway then in this women's semi-final, and it is the South East Taipans taking on the West Wildcats. Another semi-final for you to take in, our third of the day. And we've had two brilliant semi-finals for you already. Close games, high intensity, lots of pressure. And a turnover now for the South East Taipans, and they look to try and get going now inside their own half, up and towards halfway. Good early pressure as the new faces come on. Naomi Fernett making way now. Claire Waddell is also in there, our CSSC player. Oh no, leaving it off and spreading out to that far side. Naomi Fernett tries to loop it back over to that far side wing. It just lands short. And now the West Wildcats look to try and come forward again. Looking to get up to halfway. Wildcats could be again. Lovely work trying to get it towards the goal line, but it stopped. And again, it's almost both defences holding up strong, and it's looking to try and get this first score in both of these semi-finals. It's always takes a while for the first score to come around. Over towards his left-hand side. Wildcats still trying to apply this pressure, still searching for this first score. And first score then in this semi-final, and it's been coming. The South East Taipans have been applying the pressure on the West Wildcats, and it's finally come. Lovely move across the line and pushing that defence towards that. So 5 minutes gone in this women's semi-final, And at the moment, the South East Taipans currently leading by 1-0 over the West Wildcats. And I'm delighted to see, joining me for the remainder of this game, I've got Ollie Taylor next to me from the South East Taipans. Ollie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm drenched in sweat. I'm absolutely dripping. But aside from that, good spirits. Good weekend so far. So
Yeah, I was about to say, what's the weekend been like for yourself and the
yeah,
team?
we've had a pretty mixed weekend. We've had some really great victories and coming together as a team. Lots of development. We haven't had that many opportunities to train together leading into the tournament. We had some really good performances as a team, but we've had a couple of bitter losses. We just lost our semi-final to the North, so Northwest, I should say, and yeah, pretty painful to go down by 1 in the last sort of play of the game, really. But these things happen. Oh, close, good touch made there. Pretty bitter defeat. But we got the third, fourth playoff, and that sort of should be a good game. Less pressure, and everyone should have a good run out. So.
Absolutely, yeah. It really is a long weekend, isn't it, at the Nationals? How have you guys found it yourself as well in this heat as well?
Every year I forget how painful Nationals is. Lots of people book the Tuesday off just to recover. So yeah, it's been pretty difficult on the body, but. Yeah, I think the guys have all kind of banded together. We've had a really good team manager who's kept us iced and well watered. So, yeah, it's been very hot, very hot.
It's always a unique situation, isn't it, the Nationals? Because obviously you're in your region's base, but obviously players coming from different clubs. How's that been?
Yeah, so it's interesting. You kind of get to play with people who maybe usually play against, especially because it's more of a select group of people. You end up playing with the people who you probably get fed up playing against on a weekly basis, going, God, I wish that guy would stop scoring me. Then suddenly he's your teammate. So it's actually really refreshing in that regard. And just to sort of learn from each other is really good. So yeah, it's been a really good experience. Always is.
Yeah, it's always one of those events in the England Touch calendar that everyone sort of pinpoints, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of increasingly high-level touch in the UK, especially grassroots stuff. Previously, there was a lot of guys who would come from more touch-based and touch-established countries like Australia, New Zealand, and they'd bring that knowledge across. But there's a lot more grassroots stuff going on, so it's good to see those people coming through into the national setup and seeing those people featuring this weekend is really great. A lot of the junior touch players who've just come back from JTC, I'm sure you've had conversations about that over the weekend. They're coming into the setup, which is really great to see. And then some of the kind of less fit older boys a bit like me, just kind of bring up the rear and set platforms for these young guns. But it's been really good. It's as you say, it's a pinpoint in the calendar. Everyone looks forward. Everyone looks forward to it. It's been really good fun.
Yeah, just a quick word actually on the. Well, of course, it's it's been a big talking point about the amazing pool of youngsters coming through, and the incredible success for England, of course, at the Junior Touch Champs. Incredible, wasn't it?
Oh, I mean, some of the players who are coming through have so much potential. Hopefully, they don't get snapped up by Union or some of the other sports which maybe have slightly more professional appeal. That's unlucky. That's an unfortunate long ball, but great movement there. Really opened the space. Of course. The guys coming through show a lot of potential, and it's really exciting to see them coming off the back of that campaign where they played really well, not just individually, but as teams, playing structural touch, which is something that is really important to enforce at that sort of age group. It's not about the individual; it's about the team coming together. And some of the guys and girls put in some really great performances. Really happy to see that. Yeah.
Have you found yourself sort of naturally giving advice and giving your best tips to these youngsters?
Yeah, I mean, naturally at the club setup, you have a lot of that. At this level, you kind of give them a bit more. Good touch there, really good saving touch. At this level, they've kind of come into their own, and you give them a bit more respect and space just to exercise themselves. But yeah, I mean, you naturally end up just sort of giving them a bit more, especially on-field communications, just trust and confidence. And once they develop that, man, these guys fly. Really fly.
And of course, the South East Taipans in the women's now in action, of course, in this semi-final, and it's another side of England Touch that's growing and growing, the women's side, and there's such competitive games now.
I think it's always been really healthy, to be honest. I think it's been under-recognised. As a format, it watches slightly differently to the men's game, but the intensity, the skill level, the commitment is incredible. I mean, they're such talented athletes, and it's great to see them getting the recognition and the airtime that they deserve. And as you say, there's more high-quality women's touch being seen, being spoken about, which is really great to see. Really great to see.
And at the moment, the South East Taipans currently leading by 0.0 and looking to try and drive in over the halfway line, getting some fresh legs on and some good yards made up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what we call rucking. I'm sure you've spoken about it over the weekend, getting that momentum, getting the ball down and back up into hand so that you can play that player offside. And this is end-to-end stuff, as we can see. Each team is ending up right at the end of the field on each set, which... Oh, that's fifth, misread. Yeah, which is exhausting stuff, but it's great to watch.
And just on the edge of the 5 metre, looking for an angle to break through, although this Wildcats defence being stubborn, maybe some space out left, great covering, but still the Taipans going strong, spreading from left to right, and that attack looks to have come to an end, and it's going to be a turnover, but again, really trying to put the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, they had static fifth there, which is not what we want. It's where, usually in touches, I'm sure you've spoken about over the weekend, you want to be rolling into that last touch so that you're attacking, going forward, you have momentum, you have the defence disorientated, and they got static fifth, but they did well to kill it on their side. As you know, when you're defending, you want to start the ball on the side of your subbing box so that they have the furthest to go to get off the field. But again, we see some great rucking here. That's really good yards. Look at that. Unfortunate off the back of it.
Yeah, really nice momentum as Clare Islands now just flings a ball into the middle, and again, just stopped that earlier drive, and it's just a bit static at the moment, although looking to try to run onto it and get over that line, and just collapsing. Just good defence though by the South East Taipans, and I think it's going to be a theme in these knockout games, these semi-finals, where the matchups are so tight that it's going to be quite a low-scoring affairs in a sense. Yeah,
I mean, in an ideal situation, what you want is to have end-to-end stuff, people taking their chances when they arise, but defences not giving them those. That's what makes exciting watching, but also exciting playing. And I think, yeah, we should be seeing quite low scores, but let's see what happens here.
And of course, if potential could go to a drop-off, as we see the Wildcats responding in the perfect way, and it's now 1 apiece with just under 8 minutes to go, and it was lovely play, finding that gap and getting down early, which is important, and it's 1 apiece.
Yeah, leading into that, there was someone who just turned slightly in there, got their hips not square, really forced the rest of their team to try and support them, and they stepped back on the inside. It's unfortunate, but it makes an exciting game, 1 apiece.
Now as the South East Taipans looking to try and respond. Both defences have been relatively stubborn so far. Looking to fling the ball out left. Is there some space opening up? Gets the touch.
For doggies. Actually made the line. No, that's short of the line. That's a score. Great score.
What a response that is, and the perfect way to do so as well.
Great score. Is that Danny? It looks like it's Danny.
Yeah, Danny Gregory going in, playing, representing our team, which is from Canterbury, and over the line she goes. So 2-1.
Yeah, great mid pairing there. Claire, what's her second name now? Waddell. She got married in the summer, so Claire Waddell, and then Georgia Clancy just bossing that, setting up the platform. Great doggies, great score.
So 6.5 minutes then remain, and let's just being driven back, just trying to see if they can create some space, the Wildcats. So 6 minutes remaining, and turnover now. The Taipans looking to try and get over the line. Lovely yards. What a
great yards. Great footwork.
Is that something you work on, not just your side, but in terms of the whole sort of the team itself? Just really that instinct to strive forward.
I think there's a balance in touch, because you don't want to lose your head. You've got to be able to know what your target is, try and find that target, and set a good platform. But definitely, we work on a lot of agility stuff. Fitness has been a big focus for the whole England setup over the last couple of years, of course leading to the World Cup earlier this year. But yeah, focusing on running hard with intent, but not losing your head, finding that play you want to get in on. What she did really well there, she engaged that link, took the link out, stepped back in, got into on the middle, and just made so many yards. Great platform.
So just over 5 minutes then remaining, and again it's another semi-final that is very tight and close, and Nothing much to separate the two sides, only with the Taipans leading by 2 points to 1. Let's see if the Western Wildcats can try and respond.
What you'll notice here is that the Taipans are doing really well on the first 2 or 3 touches of the Western Wildcats. They're putting that pressure on, taking away the opportunity to have the platform that we just saw so strong. Look at this pace.
Just caught up with her, but brilliant turn away, and that's eaten up the yards into this Taipans half. Can they use it? Claire Rylance now laying it off. May Burke was there.
I think Link was maybe short there.
So just over 4 minutes then remaining. What's the thinking then when the game's this close and it feels like every score is so crucial?
The most important thing is to stick to your patterns, stick to your policies, don't lose your head. Of course, everyone wants to win, everyone wants to be involved in that victory, but if everyone does their job as we've trained and as we've planned, you'll get the scores, and more importantly, you'll get what we call the stops. We'll stop the opposition scoring in defence. You'll create that platform. Hopefully, we'll see a great opportunity for Taipans here coming off the back of this to get momentum, maybe a loss of control. Get momentum. So yeah, stick to your policies when the game is this close.
Taipans looking to try and come forward over the halfway line mark. They come.
I think that's Katie Fielding of World Cup notoriety running up the wing there.
Naomi Fairnet. Oh, fantastic
Such a good
work.
player.
Brilliant. And it finds the support. Yeah, Naomi Fairnet just almost just ghosting through there. Sensational.
A powerhouse pairing in the mids there. You have Claire again and Naomi, who are club mates, play regularly together. You can see they just interact so well there. And Naomi just absolutely sold her. Took the hips out, recognised that defender had turned out, snapped back on the inside. Great score. Great technical score as well.
And in a game where it's been very close, and the Taipans have just got a bit of daylight opening up now with that 2-point advantage, although still so long to go in the into the game. We've still got another 20-minute half to come, and it's these 40-minute games. Even though you feel like you're opening a bit of space, there's still a long way to go, isn't there?
That's it. It's a classic sport game of two halves. Everyone says it to take the mick, but no, of course, you've got a long way to go. The heat, the conditioning that everyone's been doing, a lot of it comes down to keeping your head when you're hot, under pressure. Good case in point there. Didn't need to pass. That was a bit of a hospital pass. No, nothing good was going to come of that. Just keep your head and focus on your job.
So just under 2 minutes then remaining. Taipan's looking to come forward again, and you can see how much energy and the momentum they're trying to build up over halfway. Needs a bit of support now.
Yeah, anyone watching this, take an eye on how much momentum the Taipans are generating off their rucking and how little the Wildcats are, and that's why that score is reflecting that.
Another opportunity potentially goes begging to open that gap even further, and it does feel that the Taipans, every time they're coming forward, they've just got sort of a sense of purpose, haven't they, in driving forward all the time.
That's it. Like we said just a minute ago, that momentum, that purpose, and in defence as well. Look at them getting up. Let's not just talk about attack. Look at that up in defence. They're almost not outside the 5 metres there, and they're already getting the touch in. They get third before the half. They've only got 2 touches realistically to create something now. Look, there you go.
And they'll need something incredible to try and work something here into the final stages. 5th touchdown. And there we go. That's a brilliant defensive set by the Taipans.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's not take away from the defensive effort these guys are putting in. I mean, in attack they look sharp, but in defence they're really well coordinated, really committed to making those touches as well.
So going into the closing stages of the 70-20 minutes, brilliant take, wasn't it? Over halfway line they come, and again, every time they're coming forward, real momentum, just being paused in their play at the moment, stopped in the tracks, but
looks like it's an offside penalty, so they'll get 6 again. So hopefully see another attacking set here, maybe with some more flair.
So only seconds remaining. We'll hear the hooter go any moment now. There it goes. Well, can they get over the line again? There goes the touch. And that is half-time then in this women's semi-final, and another cracking semi-final at that. And it's the South East Taipans who currently lead by 3 points to 1. Myself and Ollie will be back for the second 20 in a couple of moments' time.
Well, first and foremost is we want to give everybody a game, so we are an inclusive club, and we will search out opportunities where everybody who wants to play representative touch for the club can do. So that comes from those down to, I think our youngest player has been 11 this last season, up to, dare I say, Hobbo, I think he's 57 now. And that's what we are about, we're an inclusive club. But within that, we also want to be a club that wants to get better, wants to improve, wants to win things. And for us, trying to grow the top level of our club and getting better and growing our performances is also just as important.
No, it's good. Just shows how touch can be played by everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's a good selling point for the sporters in general.
Yeah, because I can learn more from him than other people because he knows what I'm like.
It's a facility for all ages to play touch rugby. As you can see with our training, that we've got kids from sort of 9 and 10 up to me, who's quite old, over 50.
Representing Nottingham with England is great because the Euros were held here as well, so we had a really good support as well for my first Euros campaign.
I think it's been a part of our strategy, part of our plan, and we see the future. We want to get better as a club. To do that, we need to bring youth in to shift as oldies further down the line. I think it's also the fact that as some of the older players bring their families down, children, there's 3 or 4 of us here tonight with children, the strategy's also been really targeting schools, junior clubs around here. The Summer League that runs each year now gets 100 plus under 15s in.
Well, we did something at school for it and then we enjoyed it, so we decided to carry on.
We have a coaching setup here, I think, of 16 level 1, sort of at the intermediate level coaches.
What a good defender is going to do is come out and just run straight at them if they're going to front you up and they're going to stop you. He just comes straight at me, we get underneath him, slow down the roll ball, he's either going to turn the ball over, drop it, or the ball's going to be slowed down so that the half can't get in.
And in addition to that, we've probably got another half dozen who are in the England frame who help out, and you'll see that tonight. Everybody's prepared to put their hand up and help, so it's not just about taking from the club, it's about giving back, which is fantastic. You'll see the mixing between adults and juniors, and for me, from a junior perspective, that's one of the key things that we've done, is rather than separating out junior training every week, we try and mix it in where we can. And what you see from the juniors particularly is just they're growing in confidence and having to deal with players that are probably much more their senior in age and experience, and that's great for their own personal development as well as their physical development.
Helps us learn new skills and improve during the game.
Everyone gets integrated together, all different levels, lots of coaching advice.
And it's just a great spirit down here. That's why I like coming down. We have a laugh, although we take training seriously. There's always somebody to have a laugh and a chuckle with and enjoy it.
I think for me, probably I would focus the game on getting as many children coming down over the summer as you can. From a point of view of growing the sport, bringing as many children down with their parents and getting an all-inclusive, fun environment that anybody can have a go in. And focus on that, of building the baseline of as many players as you can. Don't worry about trying to go through the ranks and put the best team out there. I think build from the base upwards, which is how we started 5, 6, 7 years ago. And as a result of that, we're slowly chipping away at getting up the ranks.
This is
Nottingham.
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 Players and officials, stand by.
So back underway here in the second half of this women's semi-final. South East Taipans taking on the West Wildcats. And as you can see on the scoreline, the Taipans currently leading by 3 points to 1. And it feels like the next score could be absolutely crucial in this. Taipans looking to come forward. Naomi Furnit's in there in the middle. Always seems to be a key player in this Taipan side. Over the halfway line they come. Ball worked out towards that far side. Good work. Looking to try and get towards the 5-metre line. Georgia Clancy is there to receive the ball back inside, fling the balls out to the left-hand side, and it's just died in front. Sophie Arthbernot currently applying a trade at the London Scorpions. Oh, and a turnover inside the Wildcats half, and an opportunity for the Taipans just to draw breath, and they know that potentially another score and they could be in. Sophie Arthbernot laying it off. There's Danny Gregory as well. Georgia Clancy. The touch just comes in time by Claire Rylance. Real professional is Claire Rylance, and applies a trade at Revolution, of course. Nice work from the Wildcats. They also will be looking to try and get this first score of the second half, doing well to drive through the middle, space potentially opening up on the right hand side, but opting to still go through the middle of Claire Rylance. Nice little pick up, those two working well. Space potentially opening on that right side, but again, really good covering work. Taipans, bit of momentum now. They built it up well from the middle. But a turnover now, and no one really wants to strike first in this second half, but it feels like it's really important whoever gets this next score. Claire Rylance doing her best to try and drive her team up the middle of the pitch. Olivia Jones also is there. Lucy Neal Hook. Pressure put on. And the turnover in possession now for the Taipans in this semi-final, looking to get through over the halfway line. Space potentially opening up, is it? But they just slowing down the momentum. It's just helping the Wildcats at the moment. Naomi Furnit now in the middle. She has Nicola Marsh in support on this near side, but Furnit going in herself. Can she find the support? Oh, it was very, very close. Claire Waddell was there. The two London Eagles, or CSSC players as you might refer to the club, linking up. Samantha Powles is in there alongside Lucy Neal. Powles laying it off. Over halfway. Brilliant run. Good momentum, just had to be stopped. Nikki Bird was in there. Potentially some space opening up. Oh, brilliant work. Alice Somerville. And that could potentially be the crucial score in this semi-final, and the South East Taipans advance into a 4-1 lead. Brilliant work by Sophie Arpinot, 23-year-old. And the South East Taipans advance into a 4-1 lead. We've had to wait a while for this first score in the second half, but it's finally come. Now the Wildcats have it all to do. Can they still apply this pressure? Got to work this Taipans defence. Are they going to try and stretch it? Just stops on the line and turnover for the South East Taipans, and they're just taking their time. They know they've got this game in the palm of their hand at the moment. They're in control. Over the 10-metre mark, good yards made up. Naomi Ferner. Was in support there by Claire Waddell. From Georgia Clancy. Clancy just couldn't get the ball and fling it out to find Nicola Marsh. Here's Naomi Ferner again. And it was nearly into the hands of Nicola Marsh, who went to try and get over the line. Up towards the 10-metre mark, the Taipans really building up ahead of steam. Some good momentum in their attacks. They really picked up from where they left off in the first half. Lovely, nice flow move out to this near side. Can they try and finish it off? Incredible touch. Good covering work. And it was an important one, and it means the possession is turned over. Claire Rylance. Up over halfway. Lucy Neal Hook makes some really good yards, and a bit of space maybe to potentially work something as their new subs come on with momentum. But again, it's just not happening for the Wildcats. Nice little layoff over halfway line they come. Here comes the supports. Lisa Nilhook always seems to be driving her side on. Charlotte McFarland is also there in the middle now, Thames Valley Vikings player. So at the moment, in any of these knockout games in the semi-finals, we've not required a drop-off, and it looks increasingly likely that that trend will continue. South East Taipans going strong again, pushing on forward. Hanyo in there with Fernett. Nicola Marsh gets the touch. Fernett has Marsh to the left. Opts to go for herself. It's just sandwiched in between, and it will be turned over. So we saw the West Wildcats in action earlier on in the day against the Northwest Blades. So this is our second game that we've seen them here on pitch number 1, and at the moment they are behind in this semi-final. Did all the good work earlier on to get into that position to be it, and this is lovely play from the Wildcats, but they just can't seem to finish it off. Towards halfway. It's the middle now. Here is Sophie Arfbernot. She lays it off. Pass out to this near side, and that's the 5th, is it? It looks like it is. The South East Taipans are on the march. And it was Katie Fielding coming in. Applies her trade at G-Force. She's a clinical finisher, and this time around it proved dividends, and it's 5-1 to the Taipans, and the Wildcats now have a massive mountain to climb. They really need to step up the ante if they want to try and somehow miraculously get back into it. Here's Claire Rylance. She swings the ball out to the right hand side. Good pressure again by the Taipans, who have been equally as dominant in defence than they have been in attack. Lee Burke again. Lee Burke. Good footwork, finds Claire Rylance in the middle. Of course, the coach here for the West Wildcats, Gary Lambert, who was with us in the commentary box earlier, saying how proud he is of his team over the weekend, and I'm sure he'll be immensely proud of how much they've come on this weekend and have put in a good shift and to get to this point in the semi-finals. It's always a monumental effort, and May Burke going in over the line. Won't count this time, but they've applied some really good pressure, the West Wildcats. Can they try and finish the job off? Let's see if they can. Fling that to the left hand side. Oh, it just falls and dies in front of Catherine Nash. Unfortunate, they were putting the squeeze on the South East Taipans, but just couldn't get over the line. South East Taipans looking to come again. Naomi Ferner linking up with Georgia Clancy on the left-hand side. So seconds ticking down. It's going to need a mammoth effort for the Wildcats to get back into this, and the way the South East Taipans have been defending, it's looking increasingly unlikely. But this is really good momentum and drive through the middle from the Wildcats. This will give them confidence to go into their third, fourth playoff. Taipans just so relentless in every attack coming forward. Here is Sophie Arpadnot over the 5 metre pass flinged out. Oh, it's a lovely take, and is it the score to match? No, it isn't, but it was a brilliant run. Nikki Bird coming in. Ball flinged out into the centre, and we're only just under 2 minutes away then from the South East Taipans confirming their semi-final berth, and it's been well deserved. It's been a comprehensive performance, clinical attack, and been robust in defence, and they're looking to try and finish off in style. Oh, and the touch comes in, so it will be a turnover with a minute and a half remaining. And the West Wildcats can hold their head held high. They've had a good weekend getting into the semi-final positions. And they've still got the chance to try and finish in the third spot later on today. And of course, we'll try and bring you all the results if we can. South East Taipans then just strolling towards the final, although they're still trying to add more to the scoreboard. Here's Naomi Ferner. It's always hard to stop their momentum. Speaking to players throughout the weekend, it's as much as they want to try and conserve energy, when there's a flow to the attack and opportunity to score, they try and take it, and it looks like they have. And what a way to finish off this semi-final. Claire Waddell, the CSSC player. And look what it means to Naomi Ferner. Absolutely delighted. Arms aloft, and that is that. And the South East Taipans, they march on into the women's final, which will be coming up at 2:45. A brilliant result, a clinical performance, and they are through to the final later on today. And so the next match will be coming from the... And we'll see the Southwest Saxons taking on the Northwest Blades. That will be coming up next.
players and officials, 30 seconds. Please be on your pitches, ready to play. Players and officials, stand by.
So here we go then. Here we move on to our next game of day 3 here in St Ives, Cambridgeshire. The Touch Nationals, Juniors and Opens, and this time we move our attention to the mix, and it's the 3rd versus 4th playoff, and we see the South West Saxons taking on the North West Blades, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Paul Montero, the South East Taipans women's coach and the junior coach for the Czech Republic. Paul, very good afternoon, how are you?
Yeah, very good, mate, very good. Good to be back in the box.
Yes, so you joined us on Saturday, of course, for the opening day, and how have you found the weekend gone? It feels like it was these weekends just fly by, don't they?
Yeah, no, it does, and I think the heat's been very, very tough on players and also coaches. You can see me here and there. And the Northwest Blades looking to try and get off to the perfect start, and just held up on the line by the South West Saxons. But of course, we've just seen your side in action, Paul, and good performance and through to the final. Yeah, very good. Yeah, and unbeaten through the weekend so far. A good hard match again in the sun. But it was a good win for the girls.
Was that something you were of course you'd love to win it, but is that something you really realistically wanted to aim for? Was the final this week?
Absolutely. There's talent all through the squad. They deserve to get to the final, and they've showed that through the weekend.
And in terms of putting the side together, it's quite a unique format, isn't it, the Nationals? Because you obviously get players, even though it is regions-based, of course, but it's teams coming in from all around that region, players coming in from different clubs.
Different clubs. Like? Yeah, no, very good. Yeah, I think a lot of the girls have played with each other before, but you're right. It's club against club. Type thing. But very, very proud of the girls to get to the finals. Obviously, a good tough match then against the South East Sharks.
And then going into the final, I know it's obviously only moments ago that you actually reached it, but instant reaction, how the girls feeling?
No, elated. So I think the final whistle showed it. So they've put a lot of work in. They've just stepped up a gear each game. For us now, it's just about tuning into the final in another hour and a half.
We had Ollie Taylor, who's also another member from the South East Taipans, who was with us, and he was just saying that we were just so impressed by the relentless energy and pressure you decided putting on. Is that something you worked on coming on into this weekend?
Yeah, no, we knew this weekend, right? The weather plays a big factor, but it's all about your engine. A lot of commentators will talk about the grind in these games. They last 12 minutes of each half, and the girls have good engines. They're just relentless when they come on, and it's the speed of the transition as they sub players on, and it really is about fresh legs versus tired legs. That's where you get the advantage.
And was it you looking at different? Of course, just briefly talking about players from different clubs, but were you looking at those partnerships as well to try and get the best effect out of your side?
Yeah, I think Tommy Devereux, he played a big part in pulling that team together as head coach, and he's got a very, very good mix of players in there, a lot of experience, national representatives for England, World Cup experience as well, so it's helped a lot.
And as we see the first score then in this 3rd versus 4th playoff, South West Saxons, it's a perfect start, lovely patience, and you always it's always interesting when the halves get in those positions and how they're going to work it, they're going to be patient, and it's always interesting, isn't it, when they get those positions?
No, exactly, a lot of the play does come off the half, particularly for those last touches.
And the North West Blades looking to try and get back up and respond straight away.
They'll be looking for a good tap-off response here. So usually looking to play a strike play on the 3rd and 5th play, so they're looking to play one more strike play here.
And good early pressure from the Saxons straight away up and at them from the get-go, looking to try and get to the 10-metre mark. Lovely movement. Are they going to work their way through? Fantastic touch. Great work. And the Saxons hold on to that 1-point lead.
Yeah, and I think key in these games, you've seen it. It's about getting those fresh legs on. So Saxons will be looking to come to their sub box, getting their tired players off who just defended a set, and getting fresh legs on.
Yeah, how important has it been, not of course for your side, but throughout the weekend? It's getting those rotating subs and just keeping the legs fresh.
Exactly, the key is in the transition of that substitution. You get that quick, you get that fluid. A lot of defensive teams in what we call rolling, and then those gaps start opening up.
As the Northwest Blades looking as the new cavalry comes on from the subs box, trying to get over the 10-metre mark, which they do. And a bit of space to potentially work into here. Good yards made up, good pressure, direct running. And looking to just try and spread the play out towards that left-hand side, although it just dies in front of them, it just falls short.
No, but a good strategy here. That they've left the ball on the far side of the Saxons box, so Southwest have now got to work very, very hard to get that ball over to the substitutes.
And a lot of the talk this weekend, Paul, is about the youngsters coming through. I know we briefly just talked about it off air, but it's just so encouraging, isn't it? And of course, yourself as one of the coaches for the juniors for the Czech Republic side at the Junior Touch Champs, it's just, we'll briefly talk about the Czech Republic, how that's grown, of course, but just in general, how amazing to see these juniors coming through.
Yeah, and there's a lot of quality coming through. So myself over here, obviously a lot of touch that I've seen at junior level in Czech Republic, but it's great to see the juniors associated with the national championships like this, and obviously they're looking, they're aspiring to see those, as they see those senior players on the pitch now, that's the level they want to get to. But the ages I've seen here, anything between 8 to 12 up to under 18 level, it's fantastic to see.
It really is incredible when you see these real youngsters, as young as 12, showcasing their skills, and I think it just does it show just how far the development of touch rugby's come.
It has. I think if you look back, 3-4 years, you wouldn't have seen this, and certainly the level, the amount of teams here. I took a look at the under 15 final, the under 18 final yesterday. The quality of touch is very good, and there's a lot of names in there that obviously are recognised from the Junior Touch Champs over the years. And I think it's very good to see, in terms of England Touch, how they're have got at least progression for their juniors up into the seniors and opens.
As the Southwest Saxons looking to double their lead, and they've done just that. Oh, fantastic grab and turn. That was very inventive.
That's a good winger's try.
Super stuff. And the Southwest Saxons extend that lead, and they lead by 2 points to 0. And interesting, Paul, of course, just briefly, talking about your role with the Czech Republic. And what's the ride? Where did all that start for the Czech Republic touch rugby setup, and how's that risen up the ranks?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of story. So it's about 6 years ago, I started up juniors in the Czech Republic, just 6 kids, just to throw a ball around. 2 of them were my own kids, so it was a little bit easier for myself, and that's now grown. We've held 4 national championships now in the Czech Republic, and I think particularly for our the national team at JTC, we've done very well. So 3 years ago we went to Dublin, Ireland for our first JTC. It was a big learning experience for us, and that looks like a good try.
Looks like it was a sensational grab. Referee's going to give it. He certainly is. It's 2-1 on the board, and what a fantastic pass and score. The referee's just wanting just to double check. Yeah, it is going to be confirmed. A brilliant grab, and wow, so little space to work in. And that's reduced the gap to only 1. Yeah, Paul, just briefly,
So in terms of then Czech Republic, so 2 years ago we upped the tempo, but under 15 mixed and under 18 mixed. We were what I call best of the rest. When we measure ourselves against the top 4 of England, Wales, France, and Scotland. In this last JTC, we did very, very well. So we went into the top 4 and beat Scotland, Ireland, drew with France, and gave us a bronze medal playoff match against France, which we went down. But again, we've sort of, I feel we've bridged the gap there. We've had a lot of good, we've got a lot of good coaching experience now coming through and playing experience. We've got Sarah McCauley. She played senior mix for Scotland over in the World Cup, so she's helping with the coaching as well. I think generally, there's a good rise of touch in the Czech Republic. We've got a good relationship with the Rugby League Association as well.
Brilliant.
We're seeing a lot of juniors now coming through, so hoping we can close the gap even further.
Yeah, I was about to say, what was the sort of initial reaction, and now the progress and the reaction now to your progress of Czech Republic?
Yeah, I mean, locally and nationally in the Czech Republic, it's huge. They're seeing that you know, we can compete on that international stage at under 15 level, at least for now, with the big four. And certainly, you know, the next year I think will be really telling for us at the Czech Republic, and then, you know, what we do from there, how we can grow our mixed under 18 competitiveness, and also from there into seniors.
And what's the initial and future? You're just briefly talking about off air. What's the next in the plans then?
I think again, you know, a good showing at the next JTC in Wales next year, and you know, at the moment, just in the background, we're currently looking at, you know, an entry into the Euro Opens next year in England.
So exciting times then ahead.
It is, yeah, and I think we've done it the right way. You know, we've started at our juniors first, rather than looking to our open grades, and you know, it's done well for us.
And at the moment, in this third versus fourth playoff, at the moment the Southwest Saxons looking like they're having to defend a bit here as they're soaking up the pressure so far. And the Blades looking to try and get through again over the 5 metre mark they come.
Yeah, this is a tough period of the game. You know, 10 minutes gone, 10 to go. Really, what we call the grind, and this is where, you know, the size of your engine really pays. And it does become a little bit of a war of attrition now.
Yeah, what was the preparation like then for the women's side? What was the thinking coming into this weekend? It's obviously a bit different to those 2-day tournaments. The 3 days, it really feels like you're at a really long event, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. But you know, again, you know, the women there, they come through with a lot of experience with, you know, World Cup playing in Malaysia, so they're used to the heat. But also, you know, there's been a long club program as well for the last 2-3 months. So I think the preparation has been very good coming in here. You know, and certainly making the final, I think it's been, you know, a reflection on that.
Well, just a bit of confusion, and they're just having to just double check. The hooter did go. I think it was a genuine mistake, of course, and we're back underway now in this third versus fourth playoff as the Saxons look to try and come forward again, and the subs just having to wrap round. Lots of coaches often try and talk about that momentum with the subs.
Yeah, exactly, and I think, you know, the Blades have done very well here. They've what we call jammed their box, so they've made it very hard for them to take the subs off, get their fresh legs on. Unfortunately, just giving away an infringement there, so Southwest can get a repeat set on the line. But you know, again, this part of the game, it's been, you know, it all becomes a midfield grind. Very, very strong midfield defence is needed to stop that substitution.
So just almost at a standoff here in the moment inside the Blades half. Saxons then were looking to try and make their move. Lovely little jink round, but it's equally brilliant touch as well, just to stop them going any further. Saxons looking, potentially trying to find a space, opting to go left. But good blocking, and at the moment the Blades relatively defending well, although another set now to try and defend, and they're always like you quite rightly mentioned, this is the part of the game where it's just a real grind, isn't it?
It is, and you know, and these are the, you know, the things that, you know, attacking teams love. You know, you've got a defending team there; they're going to be tired. They've just defended a whole rucking set. They got another repeat set on the line.
At the moment, the Blades putting the pressure on and trying to keep them out, doing well so far.
Strike play coming here. It's like a rooster. Looks easy.
And they go through, and that's the 2 points advantage now for the Saxons. Space is just opening up. Good work again. And as easy as you like. It was Martin Wright going through over the line, and that's 3-1 on the board. So it's always an interesting time, the Nationals, isn't it? Of course, you've got lots of coaches, especially from like the England setup, looking at players that they can try and bring in. What's the whole feeling over the weekend in terms of, it's an interesting sort of balance you've got to get. Of course, you want to try and perform well as an individual, but you want to do well for your side as well, the team.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think there's an individual element. You know, I've seen a couple of the England selectors flying around, but the quality, I think, is fantastic. I've come from the New Zealand, Australian touch background, and the quality of the men's open, women's open in particular, has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a lot of talk that, of course, that England are trying to, compete as much as they can with the Southern Hemisphere sides, and of course Australia and New Zealand well renowned, as you well know, about how good they are. Do you feel that England are really getting there?
I definitely do. Again, I think the men's open game has progressed significantly over in England now, and I think certainly the results possibly a little bit disappointing for England, but it does show that they're certainly doing the right things. They are bridging that gap as well.
And at the moment, 5 minutes left to go. South West Saxons looking to try and extend that lead, and not so on this occasion. The Blaze defence is holding out strong, although just a slight knock at the moment. Looks like for Samuel Ratchford, he's making his way off. He doesn't look in too much comfort at the moment.
I don't think I can.
Yeah, and South West will be looking just to jam them up here on their line, which they've done.
Is that something you'd really work on as a side?
Yeah, definitely. You probably saw that in the last game for the women's Taipans. They worked on that a lot through the tournament, just in terms of that midfield defence.
Yeah. And there come the Blaze, looking to try and get the next score. Can they get the next score? You feel like it could be crucial, as we were in that sort of stage in your game, actually, where it was 3-1, and you felt like the next score was going to be pivotal, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And, I think going into a half with the last score, that always lifts the team as well.
Yeah, is that something you talk about in terms of that, just those moments before the break, and it can be a momentum changer, can't it, if you get that score before the break?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're talking about close games, like this, you feel that score before the end of a half, that will lift any team.
So 3.5 minutes remaining. Saxons looking to try and get that fourth and potentially wrap up the first 20 minutes in style, although just that lack of concentration and it's that fatigue, isn't it?
It's that fatigue, tired body, tired mind.
Is that something as well that you've had to sort of take into account? Of course, physically it's so demanding, but mentally as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of game management in terms of environments like this in a very, very tough 40-minute match, and it does come back to that. There's a lot of management around fluid intake as well.
Yeah, it's important to keep the hydrations level, isn't it? It's just, we've seen lots of the players coming in with the giant 3-litre bottles that are constantly filling up, a space potentially opening up for the Blades here, but closed down again, and it just does feel that they're just almost one step behind the Blades at the moment. I think that tiredness is just slightly creeping in.
Yeah, you feel. I think everyone's got tired legs out there now.
So you've got a bit of a gap before the women's final. What's the preparations then?
Stay out of the sun.
Yes.
stay out of the sun. Again, just fluid management. And I think I'll be going over there, working through the game plan with Tommy and making sure the girls are both mentally prepared and obviously physically prepared as well.
So 2 minutes then remaining, and the Blades, well, if they can just get a score before the break, that just might give them a bit more of an energy boost potentially. Looking to just take the time, barking out the orders, looking to try and create something. Peter Bowyer there, he's always been at the heart of things for this mixed Blades side this weekend. Bowyer coming in again.
Running a block play. That's a great ball.
Yeah, you can see that pass just glided through the air. It was a sizzling pass over towards that left-hand side, just couldn't be taken, and it will be a turnover for the Saxons.
I think they've got an infringement here, so repeat set for the Blades.
As a coach, it must be hard to watch when you see the defence, those repeat sets. So players have constantly just talked to us over the weekend that they are just so hard.
They are, and again, it's just the conditions here, and that's what happens, right? And again, we talked about score before the half. Blades bring it back to 1. They'll be looking to end out the half, positively, and one score down. I think it's a very good position to be in.
Yeah, yes, again, they're going to have another potentially close game. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the second 20 minutes. So the Saxons have the tap off here, looking to maybe try and restore that 2-point advantage before the break. Let's see if they can do that. The Blades, that might have just given a bit more of a boost, anything just to really cling on to. delighted with that, turning the ball over.
Yeah, 30 seconds ago, you think that Blades, if they work this well, they'll be able to get one strike play out of it.
Let's see if they can do just that. 20 seconds remaining. Of course, we'll wait for that hooter to go. It did sound earlier, but it was a false alarm, of course. Getting towards the 5 metre.
Yeah, so they'll set their platform. A good quickie there.
Space opening up. There we go. Just as you said, Paul. And just on the hooter as well. What a time to get it. And after being 3-1 down to be back to 3-all, that is a real momentum change, isn't it?
It is, and you feel just momentum started to go with the Blades there, and that's a big boost going into the half.
So on the hooter, and it is half time then between the Southwest Saxon and Northwest Blades, and it is 3 apiece between the two sides. So it's going to be a fascinating second 20 minutes. Well, myself and Paul will be back for that second half in a couple of moments' time.
So we've probably spent a good part of the whole campaign over the last 4 years considering things. Definitely in the last 12 months, knowing that the temperature and the heat was going to be something that us, those from the England side, are not quite used to.
It starts way back when, and the medical team's so well organised. We can't sort of thank Carrie enough for the way she's led it. So well set up on all fronts.
Our strength and conditioning programme in the build-up to this event was led by 3 of our S&C coaches, all of whom have worked in sport in some way or another. We've then also got our physios that are all based in the NHS as well, but also professional sports clubs. From my own perspective, I'm obviously working with a number of Super League clubs at the minute, so all of those techniques and skills that we've learned over the last few years, we've brought all of those to England Touch to provide the best service for our players.
It's amazing that our team are all volunteers, and I think a lot of people forget that there's a lot of people here who are on annual leave and unpaid leave to support this. This is a big event, but it's big for us as well. It helps us to develop in our careers and a step forward, and I think everybody's put in a lot of effort to make sure that the programs are very specific to our sport. We've done a lot of data collection over the last nearly 6 years now, and we know the demand of the sport in our European setting, and we're starting to understand it a lot more in the Southern Hemisphere of what we need to do to keep our athletes fit. Injury rates are significantly lower than they were this time. I was going to say 8 years ago, so my first World Cup in 2011. Athletes were nowhere near. We are sheets ahead of a lot of the countries here as well.
The players have reacted really well for this tournament. We've implemented a number of strategies, so wellness, we assess neuromuscular function, we're monitoring hydration after every game, and actually this tournament is probably the best buy-in we've ever got from players.
Oh, it's just amazing. Every time we go to pitch side for a match, you've got physio with you, you've got all the equipment we need. It's just amazing. If there's any issues, any troubles at all, you're seen to straight away. It's just, I couldn't ask for more. It's been brilliant.
And ultimately, the sports psychologists are the big move for this year. And I know members of my squad have been utilising them, going and seeing them. 4 days in the heat, away from home, at the extent of your abilities tests everybody, and everybody sort of reaches that point of near break, and the ability to go there and have a look and come back is what everybody wants, and we've got the support from the sports psychologists to do that, so it's been huge for our performance really. But also support for us. It can be a pretty lonely place as a coach, and you often don't have anyone to turn to, and just a little bit of help, a little bit of advice, a little bit of guidance on how to keep the squad at their best is really, really appreciated.
My biggest accomplishment for this World Cup campaign is the staff that I have chosen. So they've been interviewed, they've worked with us for a number of years now. They have all stepped up, they work so hard, they are passionate about what they do, they're passionate about making sure that the athletes get what they need, and they allow me just to do my job so easily. I have every faith in every single person that sits on my medical team.
30 seconds, players and officials, 30-second warning. Players and officials, stand by.
So, at the break, 3 apiece between the South West Saxon and the North West Blades, and nothing to separate them. This final 20 minutes will be fascinating to see who will claim 3rd or 4th spots, and are we potentially going to have our first drop-off of the day? Well, you're joined by myself, Brad Hope, and next to me is Paul Montero, the South East Taipans women's coach and also junior coach for the Czech Republic. And, well, it was the North West Blades who really came into it at the end of that first half.
Yeah, I'd say that, the last 5-6 minutes, I think they really gained some ascendancy. And again, two scores, 3-1 down, 3-all. You feel that the Blades have got the slight upper hand going into the second half.
Well, just getting some fresh faces on at the moment. Just a halt in play at the moment. And that is because of the injury at the moment. Good sportsmanship from the Saxons player, just helping him off at the moment. That's 2 players that they've lost actually now. It's just that fatigueness and the amount of energy that you're just having to exert. Is it just potentially causing some injuries maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Again, tired bodies, sometimes you lose a little flexibility.
6th touch chance, I'd say, and it's a turnover now for the Saxons, and they've withstood that first early pressure in the second half from the Blades. And from a Saxons point of view, Paul, being 3-1 up and then back to 3-all, do you just have to sort of in your head just sort of reset again?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see, and they've lost the ball again. So this is tough on the Saxons. I think going into the second half, coach would have definitely told them that they've got to get the ascendancy back and momentum back for these first 5-6 minutes.
So the Blades looking to try and put the pressure on then.
Yeah, just looking to drag that defence around.
Yeah, just try and move them about and create some space from right to left. Good movement from right to left. Peter Bowyer is there, just trying to wait for the perfect moment to really pounce. Good early pressure again from the Saxons.
Good quickie there.
And again, the moment just goes for the Blades. Now a chance for the Saxons to try and get themselves into the opposition half. They haven't had much luck in this second 20 minutes.
No, yeah, the Blades doing exactly what I said before. They're looking to jam up that Saxons pattern. It looked like they've pulled a penalty for that though.
Yeah, Saxons looking to try and get up the other end of the field. Let's see if they can do just that. Some new recruits coming on over the halfway line. They come. Getting towards the 10-metre mark. Just having to put the afterburners on. Oh, brilliant turn of pace. Needs that support. Oh, and doesn't get it. What a turn of pace that was, though.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely rapid out of half.
It was Henry Burton who just suddenly put the afterburners on.
Yeah, and you think the Saxons will be looking to do what the Blades just done to them for the last 4 minutes, jam them up in defence here. Yeah, they're doing that, making it very difficult for them to get to their box.
They finally reach it, and some fresh faces come on now towards halfway. Yards made up over the 10-metre mark. Can they try and utilise this? Can they keep the momentum going? Back inside, lovely pass. Touch, brilliant diving touch though. That's a turnover and possession. over halfway. Good.
Yeah, it's 4 over half. That's a good set looking for.
Need to do something special here to the Saxons, and they found a route through, and the support comes as well. The first score in the second half.
That's a very good score. It all looked a little slow coming out of the box, but then again, like you said before, right, it's that change of pace that catches defences out as well.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it, when you get into those positions as the half, just to stay patient, isn't it, and just wait for that support. You almost you're waiting for your teammates to do the work for you, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. That is hard, and it's, again, it's like you said, it's that waiting game for that support player.
As the Blades look to try and counter-attack again, looking to try and get back into it.
Yeah, they're running the block again. Just not able to execute on some of these plays.
It's been the story of the Blades in this second half. The Saxons have really sort of been let off. They've given the Blades 1 or 2 opportunities as well, so the Blades need to be really trying to force home something soon, otherwise the Saxons will be trying to pick them off.
Yeah, it looked a little bit sloppy there on the transition.
Well, of course, Paul, you train the South East Taipans women's side. In terms of the women's side of the touch rugby, how much have you seen that grown as well over the years you've been involved?
A lot. I mean, this is my first year being involved with Women's Open. Tommy bringing me over here from Prague in the Czech Republic just to help me out with the Taipans. But again, I've been involved with touch for coming up 30, 35 years now, and particularly in England, I've just seen the game change significantly, both Women's Open and Men's Open.
Is that also in the Czech Republic as well, have you found? Or?
No, it's we're Czech Republic very much for us is the junior program. I think that's where we've set our future.
Yeah.
Our seniors are there, so we play a lot of club rugby, international club rugby as well. But a lot of our growth and where we're really competing now is at that junior level.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that it's the junior setup that you really tried to target, wasn't it?
Yeah, and of course, they're the future.
Yeah.
So growing them well. We've got like I said, a good coaching base there with myself, Sarah, and others. So I think really we're doing it right there, and really we'll see in the next 3-4 years where we get to, and particularly that mixed 18 and then Open's great.
Is there any scope potentially for these youngsters to come over and play in England? Has that been ever talked?
Yeah, there's it's always the question mark on how we do compete. We've only got a small domestic season, and I think also for us, what I've done the last year is include the juniors in senior club competitions. So I've been I started Galaxy Prague over in the Czech Republic. We started entering senior club competitions throughout Europe, done very well this year. That's really been how we've closed the gap to the others.
As we see the North East Blades, what a fantastic run. Is the touch going to come in time? It looks like it has. Brilliant covering defence. It was almost just a one-on-one sprint towards the line. And on this occasion, the Saxons come out on top, but really good yards made up in the first instance, and can the Blades utilise it?
Yeah, and again, we're coming up to that tough, second 10 minutes of a half.
Yeah, half an hour played, and the bones and the muscles will be feeling a bit achy, and just have to give it one final push.
Looking up for a 33 strike play, another quickie. Good defence by the Saxons there.
Yeah, holding out strong again.
Yeah, mate.
Peter Bowyer, he's really worked hard for his side. There's some space opening up. Oh, he goes out wide, and touch just comes in.
Yeah, you feel he's just been such a threat in that middle channel.
Yeah, how important is it just to have someone in the middle who can really just sort of, out of nothing, just fling a pass out wide? It's such a really good Arsenal to have in his
it's such a skill in the game today, being able to throw left to right, those long balls, but also, having someone who can really direct in the middle of the park there. He looks like he's doing that.
So at the moment, 10.5 minutes left to play, and the Saxons looking to try and extend that lead over the 10-metre mark. They go. Good yards made up. Is there some space opening up? They're trying to just take their time over this one. Work the ball back into the middle. Martin Wright is there, laying it off. Ollie Turner as well. Here is Wright again.
Yeah, they'll be looking to set up one more strike play.
Just having to be patient, wait for the right moment to attack. Oh, some slips, and there's the space that is opened up in the middle. Martin Wright, and it was those crucial slips that just let the space open.
Yeah, that's tough. There you go.
Yeah, Martin Wright laying it off.
Yeah, I think that, the next 10 minutes of the game, last 10 minutes of the game, this is really, really crucial now for the Saxons to hold this out.
Yeah, that 2-point advantage now for the Saxons. And the North East players looking to try and come forward themselves.
Yeah, right, another rooster. That's what we call a chicken.
There we go. And there we go.
A very good rooster line, quick release to the wrapper.
Well, what a response that was from the Blazers. As soon as you thought potentially the Saxons were looking to try and get back into it, and it's we've waited a while for a score, and two have come in the space of a minute. And is that just sometimes the part of the game? As soon as one scores, when you get the tap off again, and it's just almost becomes an end-to-end sort of type game.
Exactly. So you feel again, Blades are back in it. 8 minutes again. They'll feel they've got momentum as well.
Here come the Saxons again. Time to try and come at them over the goal line, but it's been brought back. Just having to bide their time, be patient on the ball. Here's at the 5-metre mark, and it's spread out wide. Touch comes in though, critical touch in the end. There's Matt Venner trying to spread the ball out to this right-hand side. Oh, just tried to be cheeky there and get in front of his man and get the ball and intercept. We've seen a few breakaway scores this weekend.
Yeah, you just see now, this game is really taking its toll. There's a lot of tired legs out there.
Yeah, it really does feel like a bit of a slugfest at the moment. Just trying to use up every ounce of energy that they have left, and it could be that both sides have just
some good yards there.
Every ounce now. Peter Berrier again, yeah, really good yards made up, and there's some space opening up. Need the support. They've got the support. 5 apiece.
Yeah, the Blades, I think, will have their heads up after that now.
Yeah, what will the approach be now for both sides? 5 apiece, 6 minutes to go. It's all to play for.
Yeah, and again, I guess it comes down to the tiredness, keeping the error count low. If they can hold on to the ball, something will come. And
there we go, just as we say. And that's a response this time from the Saxons. And it's now 6-5 on the board. Again, that man, Martin Wright's in the thick of it. Lays it on a plate. And it's 6-5. Now a chance for the Blades to try and see how they respond. 5 minutes to go in this third versus fourth mixed playoff, and only one score separating the two sides. Let's see if the Blades can try and respond again. That man in the middle. Let's see if he can work something again.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. Another repeat set.
Another chance to try and attack the line. Alistair Chadwick's there in the middle. He's in support now with Jade Aspinall. Chadwick again and Aspinall, but space potentially, not much pressure on them at the moment. 4.5 minutes left remaining. Chadwick again going in for the line.
Yeah, touch call there.
Another really important touch, and the Saxons again survive. So 4 minutes remaining, and it's still finally poised. Saxons currently leading by 6 points to 5, and if Saxons can hit another score, you feel that it could be potentially victory in that third place.
Yeah, they'll be wanting to get the ball up the other end. Yeah, they've done well here. Looks like they've got another infringement by the Blades.
Yeah, how important is it in these sort of periods where you just sort of think, do you try and tell your players just to play through the 6 and make sure you hold onto the ball and eat them as much time as possible?
Yeah, you get clock management, game management, whatever you want to call it. You know, it will come down to errors now. So, you know, I think for the Saxons, they'll want to get the ball up, you know, the right hand side of the pitch as far away from the sub box for the Blades as possible if they don't score, and just make it, you know, very, very hard for the Blades to get back up the other end. Good ML.
Oh, the dash goes in, yeah, and that potentially could be
the
victory.
Be very hard to come, but it's a very, very good 33 platform, what we call an ML, straight through the middle.
It was a lovely dive in, and it was James Hardiman coming over the line, and that is that 2 point gap now. And it's a long way back now for the Northwest Blades. I'll need something special. I'll need to sum up some kind of extra energy from somewhere to have a go at the line at least twice. And now you've got the score. Is this the point where what you just sort of say, just make sure you're concentrating, got your eye on the ball, eye on your opposition player?
It's exactly that, right? It's, you know, playing to your whatever defensive policy you have, and it will come down to error right here.
Precious seconds now ticking down, and it's an interesting dynamic. Actually, we're talking to Sadie Meakin from the Midlands Tigers, and she said she likes to know what the time is, but sometimes players don't. And how do you go about that?
No, I you know, there's certainly our experience with the Taipans. You know, they definitely want to know when the time is. It helps with our game management, time management. You know, and certainly as a player, I like to know how long we've got to burn my engine as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes you see the players who maybe don't know, and then suddenly they hear the klaxon and they go, "Oh, finally got to summon one final push." And
yeah, I think it's just natural. You know, whether you're defending or attacking, or you're chasing the game or saving the game. You know, you do want to know how much time is left, how much energy you've still got to put out. You know, it helps us all, I think. You know, Saxons will just be looking to wind the clock down here.
Well, just a slight slip, and still time on the board, and
60 seconds to go. I think Saxons will look to jam their midfield up again. They've done that. Yeah, you feel the game at this point as Saxons. Blades will probably have one more strike play left in their set.
It's been a relatively even game, although it does feel that the Saxons have just had that little bit more edge when they've come to their attack.
Yeah, they've struck when they needed to. I think the Blades have done fantastic coming back, twice, 2 scores down to level the scores, but it's just come down to, I think, the execution on some of the plays.
Yeah, it was at the break. It was 3 scores apiece, and the Blades actually came back from 3-1 down, so they've they've done their part to try and make a game of it, and in this second half it's been just as close really. Only the Saxons in that score a couple of moments ago really relieving a bit of pressure on themselves, and the seconds tick down. The klaxon will be coming any moment now. There it comes. There is the final touch, and there is confirmation that the South West Saxons have secured the third place in the mixed competition for the weekend here at the Nationals, Juniors and Opens. It was another really good game, both sides giving it their absolute best, but it is the South West Saxons who come out on top. Well, Paul, thank you very much for joining me.
Awesome, mate.
In the commentary box, and very best of luck for the near future with everything, with the, of course, with the Taipans today and the rest of the Czech Republic as well.
Awesome, mate. It's been a pleasure.
So our next game, and it is finals time, and we move to our first final of 3, which will be in the mixed, and we'll see the West Wildcats taking on the South East Sharks. That'll be coming up next.